So welcome everybody to this exclusive innovator session. I'm joined here by Juri from Axxonsoft. In this interview, we'll be exploring the trends and challenges instigating innovation in the video surveillance and management software space. So to start us off, Juri, welcome and thank you for joining us. Could you just give us a brief introduction into who you are and the role of Axxonsoft?
Sure, and thank you for having me here Rebecca. My name is Juri Knjazev. I am Managing Director of Axxonsoft UK, and I'm focusing on growing the business in the region and delivering the most optimal solutions for our clients.
Thank you. And Axxonsoft has been quite a notable player in the video surveillance and storage industry. So what major trends have you observed in the VMS space, like kind of maybe over the past few years or so?
So yeah, where do I start? There's been quite a few developments within the industry, and AI is probably one of the most hot topics at the moment. With the AI, we're able to analyze video streams and detect objects and events of interest, helping the security operators to efficiently and effectively deliver their work. But there are others as well that's been working in the background as well, like cloud solutions, vSaaS solutions. A lot of video management software is moving into that space and is becoming more popular, and because it offers scalability, affordability, and it's quite easy to deploy sometimes. There's also IoT and edge computing. With the edge computing, it's a distributed computing paradigm that brings computation and data storage closer to the sources of data. And it can be beneficial for video management systems, as it can reduce latency and improve performance. And also IoT devices are now coming into the ecosystem because they introduce a mix of sensors, which is inherently useful data that VMS can react to. But there's other topics such as cybersecurity that's constantly on everyone's mind, and as well as the over the last few years, probably a decade, the integration with other third-party systems like access control and intruder panels.
Definitely. I think you highlighted a vast number of really big trends at the moment that are, as you're right, completely redeveloping the landscape across the entirety of security, not just video surveillance and video management, but across the whole spectrum. And I know that we're going to delve in a little bit into some of those that you mentioned, particularly AI. But it was interesting also with the integration, interoperability and cyber, all of that aspect as well. That's definitely been quite a key theme at this year's event. So it's great to see that you're also ahead of the curve and abreast of all these changing developments as well. Just to pause for a second on the vSaaS and the cloud-based solutions that you mentioned a little bit there. So you also offer cloud-based solutions with vSaaS, and this is becoming increasingly popular, like you stated. But what benefits do you believe cloud solutions bring to the table compared to, for example, a traditional video surveillance setup?
Yeah. Like we've seen within the IT industry, a lot of software moving to the cloud, purely because it allows better scalability for systems, especially when the demand is growing from the customers using the software. And by putting the software into cloud, we can dynamically scale the resources without having to make initial capital investments into the hardware, which can be quite cost effective as a solution as well, because you can upscale or downscale the solution depending on the needs. And that will translate into some cost savings as well. And like I said, initially hardware procurement and installation that can be eliminated by using cloud services, which leads to the next thing, which ease of deployment. So you literally can deploy a solution quite quickly compared to the traditional methods. Also, with cloud brings its own benefits as well, being decentralized, so it can be more secure and stable, allow remote access into the system as well, so anywhere in the world people can connect to it. But the fact that the cloud infrastructure is also geographically dispersed or disparate. Sorry. Cloud infrastructure that's geographically dispersed makes it more easier to for makes it more resilient to physical disasters and cyber attacks.
Definitely. And it's quite interesting actually that we're talking about the cloud because, a few years back, the cloud was quite a controversial new emerging technology and nobody thought that it was going to be safe or what third parties are handling my data in the cloud. Whereas now the cloud has become kind of part and parcel of the majority of, a lot of security solutions, whether you're on the cloud, on premise, on the edge. The cloud's definitely up there as one of the most popular. So it's interesting to see if the current trends that you mentioned earlier with those emerging technologies are going to see the same sort of reception, a couple of years down the line where, AI algorithms, for example, are going to become, part and parcel of every single solution. So moving on to challenges that come with those sort of trends, what are some of the primary hurdles that Axxonsoft has been encountering in the VMS and PSIM spaces, especially with the rapid evolution of technology?
Keeping up with the technology, that's kind of been the main challenge because it's such a rapid space, especially with the AI. That's the pace has been developing and progressing, and certainly that has been driving us to keep up with the market demands. So as the general market sees AI being a quite valuable tool, we have to be quite responsive to bring into our product portfolio, and then so it forces, well, not forces us, but I mean, it kind of encourages us to spend a lot more, invest a lot more into R&D side of things, and likewise, we have to meet quite a variety of needs from a diverse customer base because our software is our customer base can range from small company, individual users almost, to large enterprises, and likewise their needs vary so much. And our aim is to try and meet those needs as much as possible, which in itself is quite a challenging task because there's a lot of demands from every single customer, but also verticals. Some of the verticals we cover, it can be quite challenging too, with due to the compliance and regulations. So we have to keep up with that. But yeah, the traditional cloud development as well, solutions becoming increasingly more popular. So we need to ensure that we look into that direction as well.
Definitely, and you're right. We do have some standards and regulations, legislation coming into force this year and next year, especially in terms of AI with the EU AI Act. So manufacturers have to stay not just compliant but stay knowledgeable of those changes, and also, like you said, with this technology landscape where there's so many different solutions and offerings and new technology, your user is also becoming more knowledgeable in that area. Well, not necessarily more knowledgeable, but knowledgeable in the sense that they hear about the new technology and they go, I want that. Why can't I have that? Why does that not integrate? Or why is that not interoperable with my system? And the different technologies marrying together or offering the same platform but marketed in a different way. So it's definitely trying to navigate that changing landscape.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, definitely. And storage is a significant concern in video surveillance. So how is Axxonsoft addressing challenges of large-scale storage solutions and requirements? And are there innovations on the horizon to make this more efficient? I know you mentioned scalability earlier.
Yeah, well, the starting point is the our support for the latest codecs and the compression techniques. So there's a lot of work going in from the hardware manufacturers in terms of camera manufacturers to try and reduce the amount of data, compress the data that we receive from video. So we work with them to integrate the devices to work with the latest codecs, some of the proprietary codecs as well. But also it's looking into the other areas such as supporting different storage methods, whether just standard hard drive or solid state drives, which will depend on the customer demands in terms of the latency, the speed of writing, accessing the data. Sometimes, we will use different types of technologies for different types of data. Like databases will be on a solid state drive, whereas the video might be on just a normal hard drive, which gives the flexibility to the user to get the most optimum performance from the system in terms of using our intelligence search, getting the metadata as quickly as possible, then retrieving the video footage and make it more cost effective as well. So that way we're not using the most expensive technology for when we don't need to. And working with companies such as Seagate, for example, we also introduced the cloud storage as an option. So our system integrates quite well with their live cloud offering, which basically eliminates middleware or any other data processing techniques so our VMS can directly store data into their cloud store, as I would say. And that way the system can scale quite instantly if the storage requirements of the customer changes. So we constantly working with manufacturers on all levels, when storage is involved, trying to bring in the best methods to our solutions.
And I think that collaboration is definitely key in kind of progressing those solutions further. And I completely understand, your point about latency. I mean, I live in a black spot for internet where I live, so I don't get broadband. I get 10 megs of broadband if I'm lucky. So I had to kind of go, around the houses and get like a business grade, like kind of internet, 5G, new technology, yada, 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 just to get connectivity. So I can understand, the differing requirements for businesses. And obviously I'm just a residential, so different requirements for businesses in different regions and different areas, and making sure that solutions are scalable for their requirements and their resources and abilities they have in their environment. And could you just highlight some of the technological innovations incorporating some of your latest products that perhaps differentiates you from competitors?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we've got quite a few. Well, going back to AI, for example, we've invested a lot into our in-house AI capabilities. So we've got the dedicated computer vision team who work on bringing out new AI functionality, computer vision functionality to our product. And that gives us the flexibility to train AI to custom requirements of our clients and partners. So we can quite quickly deliver computer vision models based on specific needs of the client. So it's not like we've got generic ones, but we also offer customly trained AI, which is quite unique in the market, purely because of the efforts involved in trying to train the models can be quite extensive. But because we've been for decades working on optimizing software and analytics as much as possible to get, working closely with companies like Intel, Nvidia, Seagate, our performance is quite high. So we're able to deliver AI solutions quite quick. And we also leverage the power of data to make informed decisions. So all this analytics, AI, machine learning, they create a lot of data, a lot of metadata that we utilize for forensic search purposes when we need to find an event or we need to react to a situation as quickly as possible or give some insights to the operators. And our philosophy has always been to that the video technology should not just be used for mechanically peering into dozens of cameras and video feeds on the screen. Instead, we believe in extracting the actionable data from the video and making decisions based on that data. combining it with information from other sources as well. So this is where the integration with access control and other third-party system comes in as well, IoT devices. And this data-driven integrated approach is another aspect of us that sets us apart.
Definitely. And we hear that word again, an integrated approach or a holistic view of security solutions, and having, once again, that collaboration between different vendors, different manufacturers, that kind of interoperability and technology is definitely kind of a huge positive at the moment, and catering to what the kind of user demands are. And just hovering for a second on artificial intelligence and machine learning, obviously, as we've established, are the biggest buzzwords in the industry at the moment, cropping up everywhere, both professionally and personally. And they're themes that have definitely taken center stage at this year's event, Security by Live. But how can manufacturers leverage these technologies in their offering, but in a safe and ethical way, as they're obviously the biggest controversies when it comes to AI?
Yeah, it's a hot topic, absolutely. AI especially, there's a lot of fear around it because it's quite a new technology, quite powerful technology. I think the main key is to remain true to the ethics, to your ethics. So as a company, we're always looking for to improve the data security, data privacy, and transparency as well. So we're focusing on delivering AI and machine learning as a tool and keeping human in the loop. So that way, it's we're not completely relying on AI to make decisions. However, it's a powerful tool to bring everything together. And I mean, software manufacturers can leverage AI and machine learning in their offering by and still be safe and ethical. Like I said, by just remaining transparent, showing what the data is being used for. Because at the end of the day, we train AI using a lot of data, and some of this data, obviously is shared with us by our customers. So we always be upfront with them how we're going to use them, how we're going to destroy the data afterwards. So we're not storing data for more than we need to. And giving control as well to our partners, to our clients of that data. So whether we're developing custom AI for them, and we're showing them exactly the process and allow them to participate in the process of that training, or whether once they've got a final product, our solution installed, our platform is open platforms. I mean, our software is built on open platform. So there's a lot of control that we give to our customers in terms of the data and how they're using the system.
Definitely, and I think transparency is key. And just on the integration approach that obviously you mentioned earlier, with the rise of integrated security solutions, how do you see the role and significance of physical security information management evolving, or piecing, like we were saying earlier?
Yeah, it's this heading in direction where it will become like the single pane of glass. So it'll connect or integrate with a lot of different systems. Like I mentioned, the intruder systems, or fire alarm, building management systems, and CCTV. So all of that data is then in central point, and with the application of AI and machine learning, we can automate a lot of that. We can drive useful insights out of that for the operators. So it will increase the speed at which the operator will be able to react to an event, and the efficiency for investigation purposes. But at the same time, we can automate a lot of the action. So a lot of mundane human, like low-level work can be eliminated using technology, and which then frees up the operator's time, the user time, to be more creative with how they work with the system, and focusing on what humans are best at, creativity and other elements. So instead of just constantly watching cameras, constantly watching alarms, we've got machines.
The one thing we have over AI at the moment, creativity.
That's it, yeah.
Exactly, creative freedom. And I think, yeah, we're one step closer towards that kind of smart city ideal. We're seeing it crop up more and more in the urban landscape, but actually having that integration with building management systems, with fire and security. I mean, this year we chose to align our fire and security event together for this very reason, because these industries are becoming closer and closer, and they're almost married when it comes to, life safety. That's the premise of our work in this industry. And you also raised the important point in when it comes to machine learning and artificial intelligence. Thing that we have that's important when it comes to the ethics and to the safety of using these types of emerging technology is human intervention, and providing that we are fully transparent, that we have that control, and control being the key word. Then we can put up the guardrails, and we can make sure that we're using the technology appropriately and utilizing it to its fullest. Because at the end of the day, it's a technology that has a lot of potential to completely innovate our landscape even further, and it's great that you guys are doing that, and in a really safe and interesting way. So yeah, it's really good to hear about. And just looking ahead into the industry, where do you see the video surveillance industry moving to in the next 5 to 10 years? Obviously, we've established we're in a very transitional and transformative section of the industry at the moment.
Yeah, I would say AI machine learning will definitely become even more integrated in video surveillance, from filtering lots of noise, but also like taking some initial actions and so on, becoming more automated. We're seeing massive growth in that space, and also the use of cloud. So I mean, the AI, machine learning, and the cloud, they go kind of hand in hand a little bit, purely because the amount of resources involved in working with AI and training machine learning, to kind of reduce the training lag. You need to be able to tap into quite a lot of resources quite quickly, and investing in that on-prem solutions can be quite costly, and not everyone can afford it. So hence why cloud becomes very relevant in this space. So the kind of two will drive each other. I think the growth of the two will continue. Also, the edge computing. No, we're talking a lot about cloud, but we've seen a lot of focus now on the edge computing as well, and edge storage, mainly computing, purely because it allows us to eliminate the amount of data that needs to be moved between devices. So we can only move relevant data, but before we can make that, take that action, we need to understand what data means, and if it's relevant or not. And by doing it on edge, we can do that quite a lot quicker, at scale, and and only push necessary information into the cloud, where it gets processed further. But likewise, integration with other systems that will also feed in additional sources of data, I think that will continue. We're seeing a lot more systems that we never thought of would be part of our ecosystem, but they keep coming in, especially like you mentioned, the safe cities and the smart cities, the IoT devices. They will all start playing their own part as well and have an effect. But cybersecurity is also one of the focuses for the industry, and I think there'll be a lot more influence from like cybersecurity space as well, because as the amount of data growing within the video surveillance, and the sensitivity of the data is also increasing, the manufacturers like us, we need to make sure that we keep it safe. And also for the customers and clients, they need to ensure that they are safe from data breaches, and consequently any penalties that might be relevant around that as well.
Definitely. And I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously the cloud is taking off. But at the end of the day, not everyone has the resource or ability to use the cloud. And then the cloud, the edge, on premise, they all have their pros and they all have their cons. So unfortunately, we're not in a place where it's quite yet where it's an obvious indicator for one, for that to take over absolutely everyone to be on the cloud, for example. And also on the edge, the edge and AI also marry together incredibly well. Yeah, no, all very valid points. And just lastly, for any potential customers or partners that are watching today, what would you like them to know about Axxonsoft's commitment to excellence, innovation, customer satisfaction in the video surveillance and storage space?
Yeah, well, we are deeply committed to delivering the best solution and the most optimal solution, and economically as well. So there's a lot of solutions out there that the bleeding edge, or the leading edge, but it can be quite expensive. We focus on trying to find the balance between the both, and make sure it's practical. Our solutions are practical within the industry as well. We help businesses and authorities build a safer environment and enhance operations using video and physical security systems. Since 2003, in fact, we've been at the forefront of creating disruptive technologies that drive innovation within the safety and security. Our comprehensive suite of solutions encompasses advanced video management techniques with intelligent video analytics, top-notch physical security software, and we provide customized and scalable video surveillance solutions that are designed to meet the specific needs of all our customers. So it's literally, in terms of the architecture design, we are very flexible. We can be on-premise, we can be in the cloud, or we can be hybrid. And like we mentioned earlier, VSA solutions, this is where dynamic scalability and multi-tenant kind of application becomes relevant. So it just shows you the range that we can accommodate. And our in-house AI-driven video analytics department enables us to enhance our operations and further improve efficiency and effectively predict and prevent abnormal situations by deploying these kind of technologies in our offering. And we believe that to extract meaningful insights out of the data. So all this feeds into kind of aim to make systems more smarter for our customers. But to show you that we an established player in the market, we have strong partnership with some of the leading IT market companies such as Intel, Nvidia, Seagate, to mention a few. So we're constantly trying to build partnerships with other manufacturers to ensure that we're good at what we do in terms of software and what our software does. But we need to work together to be able to deliver the solution that really works and drives the technology to the next level. So with our customers, we should have the confidence that wherever the requirements is, we should be able to meet them, and we'll find a way, whether it's through a hardware partnership or through in-house capabilities.
That's great, thank you. Well, any time anyone mentions NVIDIA, all I ever think about is my gaming PC, my NVIDIA filters. So it's good to hear it, properly in the correct context. Well, unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. But thank you, Juri. I really appreciate you talking to me today. It's been great to understand Axxonsoft's perspective of the industry landscape. If anybody has any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to a member of the Axxonsoft team at their exhibitor booth. You can find it on the platform under the exhibitor section. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.